Ja, ich bin's wieder, Konsole Haram, hier mit meinem Let's Play von Phoenix Wright Attorney Dual Destinies. Und wir sind mitten im Kreuzverhör, Kreuzverhör / Mood-Matrix von keinem anderen als Simon, du Spast! Genau, Blackwell. Und, oh mein Gott, der will aber auch nicht aufgeben, besteht echt darauf, dass er Dr. Sykes umgebracht hat. Na gut. Wir gehen jetzt diesmal über zu der Aussage. Also ganz normales Kreuzverhör. I think there might be an inconsistency in Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Alright, let's give it a thorough check then.
With a feeling of dread, I opened the robotics lab door. Pongo attacked me. I retaliated by cutting it into pieces.
Okay, das kennen wir schon. Ja. Also neu hinzugefügt ist das mit Pongo. Armer Robo. Einfach so auseinandergenommen. Also gut. Pongo hat ihn angegriffen, als das passiert ist. Angegriffen, also hat er selber zugeschlagen. Entschuldigung, trinken. Dann wollen wir doch mal. Hier, Photo of the Crime. Wenn das so ist, dass er Pongo auseinandergenommen hat, bevor er Dr. Sykes umgebracht hat, woher kommt dann das Blut auf der Katana auf den Arm von Pongo?
Objection!
Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo. That's the photo of the supposed moment of the murder, isn't it?
How many more times must I see that which damned me for my sins?
The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. See the bloodstain at the end of Pongo's arm where it was severed with the katana? I hope you aren't claiming it's the robot's blood, Mr. Wright! Nö, wir sind nicht bei Metal Gear, wo Roboter bluten können. Ist echt so, da können Roboter wirklich bluten. No, most likely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana. The katana already had blood on it? So then it must have been the victim's blood. That's right, but if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency. You said in your testimony that you cut up Pongo and then you killed Dr. Sykes. But, in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Pongo's arm in this picture. What? But that couldn't be! Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Pongo's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackwell, your entire testimony is nothing but one giant ball of lies. Ah! Tell the court the truth, Prosecutor Blackwell, now!
You have no idea what you're doing.
His voice, there's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool or something.
Phoenix Wright, you will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave.
Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All of these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever he really saw that day is what's causing these feelings. Soll heißen, ein letztes Mal. Gefühlsüberschuss. Und da will mal einer sagen, Simon Blackwell ist ein emotionsloser Spast. Das sieht man. Alle seine Emotionen spielen verrückt. Der Kerl ist überemotional sogar. Ich wette, heimlich hat er auch bei Bambi geheult. Okay, Spaß beiseite. Jetzt wollen wir doch mal.
I saw it. The terrible scene.
Okay, er hat irgendwas Schreckliches gesehen. Ja, jetzt müssen wir gucken. Wo ist der Grund? Das Einzige, was hier sich jetzt verändert hat, ist dieses I saw it. Er hat irgendetwas Furchtbares gesehen. Ich werde jetzt so viele Leute damit verstören. Aber was er gesehen hat, ist Athena. When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor?
You should know better. And so, it's pathetic. I admit I'm terrified to speak of it.
Prosecutor Blackwell, Miss Sykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me too?
Athena's innocent, huh? Can you honestly say you believe that to be true, right, Dono?
I give you my word. Now, tell me what you really saw when you opened that door.
Curse you, Phoenix Wright! It was a tragedy, one I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Sykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table, while the bloody katana lay on the floor. And standing between the two, covered in blood, was Athena. She smiled, with a far-off look in her eyes, as she sweetly said,
Be disturbed in 3, 2, 1.
Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her part to fix her.
That's what I saw, and now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted.
Soll ich euch was sagen? Ich zittere sogar jetzt in diesem Moment. Alter, ist das dark! No. Prosecutor Blackwell finally tells the truth. And this is what it is? It's beyond devastating!
I tried to take my mother apart?
Fuck. it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother. Athena! As I said, Wright, the truth isn't always pretty. Murder, disassembly on an operating table, a scientist using her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all.
Objection!
It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but you dare cast aspersions on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner? Dr. Sykes could be awkward with people, but she loved her daughter with all her heart!
She left me?
Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voices of people's heart. She wanted to set you free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much?
Yes. My head hurt every time I wore them.
No, Athena. It's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves to nullify emotional input from the voices of people around you. Your power was much stronger than it is now. And those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with everyday life.
No, that can't be true. Then why? Why would I have done something like that to somebody who loved me so much?
Her love for you was real. That I can guarantee. That's why I knew. That what happened had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it.
So you took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more alike than you know.
Ponko was a witness, so I put it in the case, held Athena close, and vacated the lab. I threw Ponko away in the boarding lounge trash chute. And I hid the case on the Space Center grounds.
It would seem that we now have all of the facts of this case.
Hold it!
No, not yet. It can't end like this.
Objection!
Do not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright. The truth has been revealed. Or are you the type of man to turn your back to things that disagree with you? I'm not. But this... I can't give up now. I have to say something. Anything. Even if it's a bluff. I've always managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. The defense is prepared to present evidence.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Athena.
it's okay. You can stop now. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer for my sake.
Athena! What are you saying?
I killed my mother. That's the truth. It's just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt. But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall?
It appears Miss Sykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Sykes this opportunity to confess? Very well! Then if you would, Please take the stand, Miss Sykes!
Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end.
Athena. Prosecutor Blackwell will be cleared and the dark age of the law can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt and bring everything on its conclusion.
I killed my mother. My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. Your Honor, please find me guilty.
I dare say there are all memories that no one but the murderer would have. I see! Thank you for your confession! I believe this trial has gone on long enough! But before we conclude, does anyone have a court argument?
Objection!
Phoenix. I do, Your Honor. Mr. Wright!
But Mr. Wright, why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-argument now is pointless.
Objection!
Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer.
Objection!
I said that you never change, but could you have actually regressed in these 8 years? I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. Stimmt. Die Blockaden sind immer noch da. Sie sind nicht zerbrochen. Das heißt, es gibt immer noch etwas. Etwas, was sie selber nicht weiß.
I did a little research. I looked into those special psych logs you mentioned, Mr. Nick. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, in from herself.
There's still a chance, somewhere deep in Athena's heart. There might still be a memory that not even she knows about yet. It might be like looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still, that memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. I hope for everyone's sake that you are not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now then, is there not a problem with Miss Sykes' confession?
My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers.
There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. I can just tell. If there's a problem with her confession, please prove it to this court now! Nun ja. Das bisschen können wir ja noch schaffen. Denn die Sache ist nämlich die. Wenn sie meinte von wegen, dass sie spürte, wie das Blut bis zu ihren Fingern gelangte. Da müsste an der Katana selber am Griff noch Blut sein. Ist es aber nicht. Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright? I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. But I remember it! I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers! That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, there should be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of the sword. There's not a trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right. Oh my! Defendant must simply confuse a portion of her memories. She mentioned that it was hazy to begin with, and she can't mull over every minor detail.
Objection!
But she also said there's no question I remember it, a fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memory means? Gladly! Just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone, but she said it herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix, think! What could the contradiction with Athena's memories mean? Dass sie... Also, dass das Blut weggewischt wurde, kann schon mal nicht sein. Das könne man mit Luminol nachweisen. Aber sie hat eine andere Waffe benutzt. Miss Sykes said blood flowed down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So, doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time, I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Sykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent. A different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly? Right, of course he would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again, as always? How does he do that? But I can't back down. Not here, not now. That's right, I did. Because it's so obvious, it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. Was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos. Wait a minute! There is something! There's a high probability that that was in the lab. Was war das denn gerade? I don't have that particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like it. Other than the katana, this is another blade that may have been at the crime scene. Nämlich hier dieses Messer. But that's the murder weapon in the clay Terran case! Yes, this is the knife that took Mr. Terran's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees. And a robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around.
Objection!
But, besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. It was an investigation report, if you didn't know. Of course I knew that! Once you told me just now. Then here's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene, but it didn't contain any blades. Here is a photo of its contents. You're right! I don't see any kind of bladed tool! Fine. But isn't there anything odd about the design of the handles? Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room.
Objection!
I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? Don't tell me your eye of art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You are the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. No, he's simply watching out for your ocular heels. Please proceed, Mr. Wright. Eben, also spiel ja nicht die beleidigte Leberwurst. Notice that the handles of each of the tools have a sort of design on them. Oh, I see that they do! But what significance does that have? It's clearly that one of the tools is missing from this kit. If we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetic helped you come up with? Edgeworth, just let it go, man! Let it go, let it go. Das konnte ich mir nicht nehmen. Show the code then, if you would. What pattern or design would we see if we were to rearrange the tools? Ja, okay. Dann, Moment bitte. Gib mir einen Moment, dann sage ich's dir. Ja, dasselbe, was auch hier auf der Mappe, auf dem Ordner drauf ist für das Robots with a Heart Research. And what design is this supposed to represent? The JAXA logo, Your Honor. It's on all of the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. As you're aware, JAXA is the program that operates the Cosmos Space Center. Look at how brightly the JAXA logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. JAXA, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Oh, I think I see it now, but... Yes, with just the tools shown in this photo. The red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Terran case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in the open slot... Ta-da! It would complete the JAXA logo. So it would! Then that means... Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours, and while you're at it... Admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one. Gegeben! Order the court! Aber wie ich schon gesagt habe, es wäre ja kein Ace Attorney, wenn es nicht noch was geben würde. Also beende ich an dieser Stelle den Part. Egal ob positiv oder negativ, Bewertung immer gern gesehen. Das war's von meiner Seite. Wir sehen uns das nächste Mal wieder. See ya, guys.